This one stings. It really stings in many different ways. At Hockey Night in Canada, in our own building, in a game to determine who walks out of it with the top seed in the North Division, against the team I hate the most in the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Edmonton Oilers get shut out. Their record falls to 14-9, and their winning streak ends. This is like a cocktail of pain that just got injected into my bloodstream forcefully. This hurt a lot. Yeah, let's just talk about this and get it out of the way so I can just go relax on a night where they played at 7 o'clock instead of 10, so I can actually go and rest properly. And then I'll deal with Monday when Monday arrives, and I can kind of just postpone the problems until then. Lineup changes, there was only one. Evan Bouchard was out. Patrick Russell was back in. Back to 12 forwards and 6 defensemen. Now, here's the thing. I might be really mad about this, but I don't know if I am yet. And that's because I don't know if this is a scenario where there was an injury concern with Bouchard or whether this was an actual healthy scratch. Now, there were rumors that going into the game there was some sort of an injury problem, and when you look back on the roster, there is no forward that was not in the lineup against Vancouver. Sorry, that wasn't the lineup then, that it was not in tonight. So, I think that what happened was that Evan Bouchard was dealing with a bit of a small injury. That's what I'm hoping. Anyways, cross my fingers on it. Because if they just gave him a healthy scratch over Adam Larson, I'm going to be furious. I am going to be furious because you're just wasting a 20-year-old phenom, if I'm not mistaken. Is he 20 or 21 at this point? 21, I think. But a young phenom. Maybe not. Maybe phenom's a bit of a stretch. But you know what I mean? A really good defenseman in Evan Bouchard. He's out of the lineup tonight. Patrick Russell's in. Let's see what they do. Off the top, Oilers get some really good chances. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. Tonight just felt kind of dry for me when it came to scoring chances. There wasn't a lot. There was in this game. There was just a lot of kind of back and forth. Wasn't a lot of dramatic moments or anything. It was just kind of happening. Like the Oilers were just existing. The Leafs were doing more, but they were still existing. It kind of just felt like one of those games. But like I said, Oilers get some good chances off the bat. McDavid gets a drive or two in there. Chiasson had a couple chips at it. Nothing to avail. Back and forth hockey in the first 6. Smith makes a nice little poke check-like save on Barabanov before he can get a shot off. And then Chris Russell then takes a holding call. And yeah, of course it was Chris Russell. A guy who I don't like as this team's top 4 defenseman. He takes a holding call, and then on the ensuing power play, Marner gets a shot, Smith stops it, Marner gets the rebound, takes it around, feeds it to Nylander, who gets a shot off and scores on Mike Smith, who was screened not just by Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton had a bit of a screen in there, but for me, he wasn't even the biggest screen to deal with, because Josh Archibald and Ethan Bear, were doing a much more effective job at screening Mike Smith than Joe Thornton was. So, yeah, bit of a oh god, so it's 1-0. It's 1-0. Ennis ends up going into Campbell. There was a bit of talk about this. I was watching the game with my dad, and me and him were making some arguments on it. Here's my opinion on that collision, because I don't know if it's going to be talked about a lot. I wasn't checking social media, so I don't know if they were talking about it a lot. Here's what I saw on that play. Ennis was going in to get a rebound, had a route. Jack Campbell was, I can't remember whether he slid in or was still there, but was in the position. Ennis couldn't really slow down. Hall was behind him, so he couldn't really stop. It was a situation where Ennis kind of just had to go through, and it was unfortunate that Campbell got hit, but I don't think there was really anything Ennis could have done about it. Yeah, and I just wrote down as the end of first period line, this sucks, because it sucked. Oh, oh man, I missed the second goal. That's how saddening this game was. I missed the second goal. So before that whole Tyler Ennis, Jack Campbell situation, Tavares to Marner, who snipes, and it goes past Smith's 5-hole. I know there was a lot more in the play. I think it was Thornton kept it in, or was able to pop it in, and then Tavares had it, and then I don't know if it went to somebody else. Point is, Marner sniped it, and it went 5-hole on Mike Smith, and he needs to stop that puck. Then the Ennis situation happened where he ran into Campbell, and then we go on to the second period. Nothing crazy in the first half of the period that I was like, wow, that's noteworthy enough to write down. Just a lot of back and forth play where nobody could really build anything. And then a bad offensive zone turnover by the Oilers leads to, if I'm not mistaken, it was a Zach Bogosian poke check on his stomach to Jason Spezza, who goes for the slap shot. It's a fake slap shot, snipes it past Smith. It's 3-0. I want to die now, please. And then from there, I mean, it's nothing much to talk about in this game. Archibald pops one off the bar. I just wrote it was one of those games. And then we go to the third period, and I have 2 quotes for the third period. The Oilers do a good enough job at existing, but I can't really care right now. At this point, I'd lost full interest in this game. And then Ethan Bear turned it over to Zach Hyman. Nurse, trying not to take a holding call, really didn't do a good job at defending and trying to get the puck away. Hyman takes it, walks in and scores. It's 4-0. Nothing else to talk about. 4-0 loss to the Leafs. This one hurts. It really does. I know it has to come to an end, the winning streak, but it couldn't have been a worst case scenario. Like, this was the worst case scenario for how it ended. I guess it does meet the Oilers' moniker of go big or go home. Because, man, when they're going to do something, they're going to big. If they're going to beat Calgary, they're going to beat them 7-1. And if they're going to lose after a 5-game winning streak, they're going to do it on Hockey Night in Canada against the Toronto Maple Leafs with backup goalie Jack Campbell in net and no Austin Matthews in the lineup. That's how they're gonna do it. Like that's the Oilers for you. That's what they do. They find the most painful way possible to bring the hopes of their fans right down. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh my God, the end of the world is coming. This team is so bad." Because at the end of the day, they just came off a 5-game winning streak. They're second in the division. They're 14-9 altogether, and they are still one of the better teams in this league. Right? We can agree. Well, at the moment, they're playing like it. The winning shows that they are one of the better teams in the league. It just really hurts that this all played out the way it did, doesn't it? It really does. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I guess my one thing that I would really want to throw in here would be Evan Bouchard, if he's healthy, should be back in the lineup on Monday. I think that tonight showed it. Honestly, like, it might sound ridiculous, but maybe you try and find a way to get Bouchard or Bear or Barry, maybe even just get one of the right-hand defensemen to move to the left side and then take out Chris Russell. That might sound crazy, but I mean, listen, here's the thing. Chris Russell and Adam Larson as a pairing is not good enough. We have let's address it. This pairing has been the pairing that I've despised since the moment it was created, which is crazy because when you look at the pairing's existence, and as I flip through my notes to see how long this pairing has existed, it has existed the entire duration of the winning streak, which is interesting because that means that we were winning games consistently with that pairing. But I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. Just because I don't think that there's enough puck movement there. So I'd like to see something get flipped up. I think that Russell will be out once Lagesson gets back in, and I think we'll see that happen. But yeah, other than that, I don't really got much to say about this game, guys. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of simple. There was a lot of opportunities tonight, and yeah, like it wasn't there. What I mean by that is that there were chances for them to score and like chances for them to defend better. This was, in a way, it wasn't a winnable game, but also this was a winnable game. This is a game that they easily could have won, but they didn't. So, what did you guys think of the game? Let me know down below. This is very depressing. So depressing for me. I hate every minute of this. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next one. Goodbye for now.